What's up, guys? Today I want to talk to you about micro brands. To start off, what is a micro brand? Well, it's kind of a bad term that I don't really even like that much. And I'm sure micro brands don't like it much either. Micro brand watches or wristwatches produced by independent watch companies that have an output of about 300 to 2,000 watches per year. A lot of these small independents only sell their timepieces online. Some watch collectors swear by micro brands and only like to wear micro brands, and some hate them and they would never buy from a small independent brand. I think it's real silly to be affixed too strongly on either side of the argument, and I think there's room in a collection for micro brands and the big watch brands. And here's why I think micro brands are awesome. First point, to build heritage. Some people only buy from well-established watchmakers with a long history of heritage, and they state that these micro brands simply don't have the same heritage as the older established brands, and thus they should be valued less. This is a good argument, and of course heritage is important. I think watches that have a lot of heritage are always going to have a special spot in a watch collection. But if new independent brands are making good watches, let's help them grow so they can get that heritage. It would be pretty cool to be an early adapter of an independent watch brand on like a Kickstarter campaign and see that brand grow. You could give this watch to your kid, and if this brand sustains itself to then, that's a pretty cool hand-me-down. And I guarantee some of the recent micro brands that we're seeing are going to blow up and will triple in both price and prestige over the years to come. Second point, it's good for the marketplace. This is going to be a pretty boring hobby if the only watches you buy are from the big brands and you're not interested in independent watch brands. If you guys are into watches, like I think you are, which you are if you're watching this video, I'm pretty confident like 95% of you could name most of the big watch brands going down the alphabet, A, B, C, D style, off the top of your head. There's a good amount of them, but at the same time, it's a finite amount, and there really isn't that many choices to choose from. And a lot of the brands are owned by bigger groups. So if you broke it down into the big groups, like Swatch or LVMH, there's even less. So isn't more options a good thing? These micro brands did not have to choose to get into watches, but they did. And that's definitely not the easiest way to make a buck. So I definitely respect a lot of them. Although there are definitely some independent watch brands that are dishonest and are just chasing the dollar. And I'm not going to be shy to call out any brands like this. Movement, your brand is trash. Your watches are trash. And I think you have some good-hearted people at the company who care about what they're doing. But the people running the company care about one thing and one thing only. That's lining their pockets with cash. And that's pretty apparent if you're anyone who remotely knows anything about watches. It figures that they got bought out by Movado because, as you already know from a previous video, Movado is trash too. I guess trash recognizes trash when they see it. But anyway, for the most part, these independent watch brands care about one thing and one thing only, and that's making the best watches that they can. Third point, it's more affordable. Although some independents do charge substantial amounts of money for their watches, a lot of them are very fair about their prices, and you're getting a lot of value for the money. Some brands make in-house movements. Some put extreme detailing into their watches. Other brands perform some of the hardest techniques in watchmaking, like making enamel dials and so on. If you take some time to look into these independent brands, I think you'll be amazed. And whatever money you're paying, that money's for the craftsmanship. That's what you should be paying for, and not just the name printed on the dial. An example of this with the big watch brands is Tudor and Rolex. A Tudor basically is a Rolex. It's made in Rolex factories. It has an in-house movement made in a Rolex factory. So a Tudor, by all intensive purposes, is a Rolex, both inside and out. But it costs a third of a Rolex watch because they print a different name on the dial. And that's fine, because Rolex has earned that top spot. I aspire to have a Rolex in my collection, but let's not pretend that these independent brands can't do amazing things because they have a different name on the dial, because a lot of them can't. Fourth point, a sense of rarity. A lot of these micro brands put out a real small amount of watches per year by definition, and they have a very limited number of one specific watch model released. If you're someone who isn't going to be able to get their hands on an ultra rare watch in normal circumstances, you can buy from an independent, and without spending an arm and a leg, you can have a watch that only 100 or 200 other people in the world have. And I think that's pretty cool. I could keep going on independent watch brands, but I think you guys get a good idea. There's a lot to like with these micro brands. But of course, the kings of the watch game are always going to have their place in a collection too, and you got to respect them. With this channel, one of the things I want to do is I want to highlight some of the smaller brands who I think deserve respect or are doing some really neat things. So I'll try to touch on single brands or single timepieces in future videos. Please let me know in the comments below what your take on micro brands are and what your favorite micro brands are so I can try to feature them in some of my videos. And if you guys could please subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. It makes a huge difference and it would help out a lot. I'll catch you guys later.